When widower Evan Reyes inherited his grandfather's crumbling farmhouse, the town laughed. A single dad scraping by on diner shifts, he could barely feed his son, Miguel. The sagging roof and collapsing barn were a cruel joke to everyone, except Evan. He saw a chance for stability. But hidden beneath the decay were blueprints and journals worth $120 million, a fortune his grandfather left behind. Now, ruthless developers are circling, and Evan's in-laws want to take Miguel. Can he uncover the secret before losing everything? Where are you watching from? Subscribe for tomorrow's special episode. You won't want to miss it. The morning sun spilled to the grimy windows of Evan Reyes' two-bedroom apartment, casting shadows across the cramped space that felt like both home and cage. The coffee maker gurgled, a familiar sound marking another tough day. Evan, 36, stood at the counter, his callous hands gripping a chipped diner mug. 3 years after his wife Maria's death, life was a grind. Double shifts at the diner barely covered rent, and medical bills had swallowed their savings. "Dad, my shoes don't fit anymore," Miguel said from the hallway. The 9-year-old held up tattered sneakers, his toes cramped against the worn tips. His dark eyes, so like Maria's, carried a quiet worry. Evan knelt, inspecting the shoes. "We'll figure out mojo," he said, forcing a smile. Another expense they couldn't afford. The fridge hummed, its handle fixed with electrical tape. Evan packed Miguel's lunch, a peanut butter sandwich, a bruised apple, a discount juice box. "Mrs. Henderson says we might have to move," Miguel said softly, mentioning their landlord's wife. Her hints about rising rent and Evan's late payments were growing sharper. "Don't worry about her," Evan said, jaw tight. "We'll be fine." But the stack of bills on the counter told a different story. Overdue notices, final warnings, the constant threat of eviction. Maria's life insurance had vanished into hospital debt, leaving them with nothing but memories. The phone rang, slicing the morning quiet. Dolores Reyes Martinez, Maria's mother, was calling. Evan braced himself. "We need to talk," Dolores said, her voice cold. "Miguel's living in poverty while you cling to that worthless farm you inherited. Face reality, Evan." Her words stung. Dolores and her husband Carlos, who built construction empire, had never approved of Evan. Since Maria's death, they'd pushed to take Miguel, offering private schools and a college fund. "Miguel's fine with me," Evan said. "Fine? In thrift store clothes, eating free lunches." Dolores snapped. "We can give him a future." Maria's dying words echoed in Evan's mind. "Don't let them take him. He needs his father." "I'm his father," he said quietly. Dolores sighed. "Are you?" After dropping Miguel at school, Evan sat in his truck, staring at the inheritance letter. His grandfather, Antonio Reyes, had left him a farmhouse on 15 acres. It came with back taxes, a murky title, and a county assessor's note, uninhabitable. Evan had visited once. The sagging roof, rotted porch, and collapsed barn looked like a burden. But Antonio's hands, those weathered fingers that built the place, stayed with him. Maria had called her father a dreamer, seeing possibilities where others saw problems. At the diner, Evan worked through lunch, dodging questions about the junk farm. Even his boss, Ray, chuckled, "You gonna live in that wreck?" Evan forced a grin, but inside, he was calculating. His savings held $347. His checking was overdrawn. The farm's taxes were 3 months behind, and the bank was sniffing around. That night, Miguel asked, "What's a junk farm?" Tommy Martinez, Carlos and Dolores' grandson, had been spreading stories. "It's not junk," Evan said. "It's your great-grandfather's house, where your mom grew up." Miguel's eyes lit up. "Can we live there? Fix it up?" Evan hesitated. The idea was crazy, but the alternative, losing Miguel to his in-laws, was worse. "Maybe," he said. "Would you want to?" "I'm good at work," Miguel said, his stubborn chin set. Evan smiled, seeing Maria in him. After Miguel slept, Evan sat with a calculator, trying to make impossible numbers work. The farmhouse needed a new roof, wiring, plumbing. Thousands he didn't have. But giving up meant admitting defeat. The next morning, Evan called in sick to the diner, a rare move. He picked up Miguel early, telling the school it was a family emergency. They drove to the farm, the city fading into fields. When the house came into view, Evan's heart sank. It was worse than he remembered. Peeling paint, broken windows, a porch barely standing. "It's big," Miguel said, eyes wide with wonder. "It's falling down," Evan replied, but Miguel was already exploring, touching the stone foundation, tracing the porch railings. They stepped inside, the air thick with dust. The floors creaked, and the smell of mold hit hard. The workshop behind the house was in better shape, its slate roof intact. Inside, Antonio's tools hung neatly on pegboards, covered in dust but orderly. Miguel ran his fingers along the workbench. "What did he make here?" "I don't know," Evan said. "Your mom said he was always tinkering." Upstairs, they found small bedrooms with dormer windows. In one, a view of distant mountains and an oak tree caught Miguel's eye. "I could have a tree house," he said softly. That evening, Evan decided. He'd cash out his tiny 401k, pay the back taxes, and move in before his in-laws could push harder. It was a gamble, but it was their chance. Hey, viewers, would you risk everything on a fixer-upper like Evan? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more. Rain pounded the farmhouse their first night, revealing every leak. Evan and Miguel placed buckets under drips, the old house groaning like it was alive. "There's a leak in my room," Miguel called. Evan found him staring at a growing ceiling stain. They moved his mattress downstairs, setting up near the fireplace. The next morning, Evan surveyed the damage. The roof was rotted, wiring ancient, insulation crumbling. Repairs would cost a fortune. Miguel, undeterred, found a loose panel in his room. "Dad, look." Behind it was a hidden compartment stuffed with papers wrapped in oilcloth. Evan pulled out a bundle. The top page, dated 1967, read Perpetual Energy Conversion System. Antonio's neat handwriting covered pages with diagrams and equations. "Is it important?" Miguel asked. "It might be," Evan said, heart racing. They spent hours sorting documents, blueprints, letters from MIT, patent notes. Antonio hadn't just tinkered. He'd invented a device to convert electromagnetic energy into electricity. One letter from General Electric offered $200,000 in 1971. Why didn't he sell? Miguel asked. "Evan found a letter to my future family, dated 6 months before Antonio's death. Powerful interests tried to steal my work. I hid it for you, for a time when it can help people, not corporations." A truck pulled up. Martha Henderson, their neighbor, carried cornbread. "Antonio was the smartest man around," she said. "Helped folks with electrical fixes. Private about his projects, though." She eyed the farmhouse. "You're brave taking this on." Evan showed her the papers. Martha's eyes widened. He was working on something big. Said it'd change the world. She left, promising to check in. That afternoon, a white pickup arrived. Tom Henderson, Martha's son, with David Kruger from Meridian Development. "Mr. Reyes, we're interested in your property," Kruger said smoothly. "It's a burden you can't afford. We'll pay $200,000. Evan's jaw dropped. It was too much for a worthless farm. "What do you want it for?" he asked. "Residential development," Kruger said. Tom shifted, uneasy. "They're buying up the area, planning something big." Evan declined, sensing something off. After they left, Miguel said, "They're like the people in great-grandfather's letters. They want his secrets." Evan walked the property, noticing it high ground and clear sight lines. Perfect for Antonio's energy system. If developers knew about the inventions, they'd want the land. That night, Evan found a journal entry. "The energy crisis is coming. My system will free families from utility companies." He tested the workshop's proof-of-concept device. It hummed, powering a light bulb with no visible energy source. "It's making electricity from nothing," Miguel whispered. Evan nodded. This was worth millions, maybe billions. Hey, viewers, what would you do with a secret like that? Tell us below, and hit subscribe for more twists. A month later, Sarah Chun, Miguel's school librarian, arrived with old records about Antonio. Universities wanted his expertise, she said, showing letters from MIT and Stanford. He was famous among energy researchers. A convoy interrupted. 2 pickup trucks and a sedan. David Kruger stepped out with 3 men, including Robert Martinez, Evan's wife's grandfather. We're offering $250,000, Kruger said. Take it by Friday or we pursue other options. Sarah's face hardened. Robert Martinez, from Martinez Holdings. You're Miguel's great-grandfather. Robert's eyes narrowed. This place is no home for my grandson. Sell Evan. Miguel stood firm. I like this house. It's great-grandfather Antonio's. Robert scoffed. Antonio was a dreamer who died broke. Sarah stepped in. Mr. Reyes isn't selling. The men left, but the threat lingered. Sarah's brother, David Chun, an intellectual property lawyer, visited next. He studied the blueprints. These are revolutionary, patentable, worth billions. He found recent patents mimicking Antonio's work. Someone stole his ideas, David said. Sheriff Kellum arrived with a building inspector, citing anonymous complaints about code violations. The inspection was brutal. Every leak, every wire documented. Fix it in 30 days, or it's uninhabitable, the inspector said. Evan's heart sank. Repairs would cost $50,000 he didn't have. David confirmed it was harassment. They want Miguel out to pressure you. That night, Miguel found another hidden box with letters proving Martinez Holdings had bought Antonio's patents in 1974 for $2 million, promising to develop them. They never did, licensing them for $120 million instead. David outlined a plan. File injunctions, prove patent theft, secure financing. It's a fight, he warned. Miguel nodded. They're scared because this could help families. Evan and Miguel prepared for court. David found a 1974 contract with a reversion clause. If Martinez didn't develop the technology in 25 years, rights returned to Antonio's heirs. That deadline passed in 1999. In court, David presented Antonio's journals, blueprints, and Martinez's memos admitting they buried the technology. Robert Martinez testified, admitting no devices were built. Judge Morrison ruled. The patents reverted to Evan and Miguel, and Martinez owed $127 million in restitution. The courtroom buzzed. Reporters swarmed. David grinned. You won one of the biggest patent settlements ever. Hey, viewers, would you face a corporation like Evan? Share below and subscribe for more. Evan Reyes risked everything on a crumbling farmhouse, hoping to give his son Miguel a home. Instead, he uncovered Antonio's $120 million secret, a revolutionary energy system, and a 50-year corporate theft by his own in-laws. Facing harassment, inspection, and threats, Evan and Miguel fought back, reclaiming the patents and winning $127 million. They turned the farmhouse into a showcase for Antonio's dream, affordable energy for families. The Reyes Energy Foundation now helps thousands, proving innovation can serve people, not just profit. What would you fight for? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you loved Evan's story, subscribe, and ring the bell for more inspiring tales. Tomorrow's episode is a game changer you won't want to miss.